Jesus, you're my superhero, you're my star. Oh, hello everybody, I didn't realise you were there. Welcome to Sprouts and Rockets Online. I hope you're ready to have a fun day with us today. We're going to sing some of our favourite songs and learn all about the wonderful things God has done.
I'm reading my B.I.B. early, and this is what it says to me. It tells me that I'm never ever alone. I'm learning how Jesus came down to us and gave his best. Without a doubt, the best friend you'll ever know. Our God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. Oh, oh. I'm reading my B.I.B. early, and this is what it says to me. It tells me that I'm never ever alone. I'm learning how Jesus came down to us and gave his best. Without a doubt, the best friend you'll ever know. Our God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. Oh, whoa. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door.
God is so Boys and girls, today we are going to read one of my favourite Bible stories called David and Goliath. It's about a small boy and a giant. Let's have a look. David and Goliath. One day, young David was looking after the sheep when he heard his father calling. "Take this bread and cheese to your brothers," said his father. David's 3 older brothers were away fighting in King Saul's army. Taking the bundle, David set off at once. King Saul's army was camped on a hillside. On the other hillside, the Philistine army had gathered. It was an amazing sight. David searched among the lines of Saul's soldiers. He soon found his 3 brothers. Just then, a giant soldier stepped forward from the Philistine army. He was so tall, he towered over everyone else. He roared, "I am Goliath, tall and mighty. Who is brave enough to fight me?" Not one of King Saul's soldiers replied. They were all afraid. I'd be pretty scared too. He looks pretty big. The soldiers talked among themselves. "The king will give a big prize to whoever kills the mighty giant Goliath," they said. "What's going on?" young David asked his brothers. "It has nothing to do with you," they said. "You're just a boy. Go home and look after the sheep." Oh, poor David. He just wanted to help. But David did not go home. He went to see King Saul in his tent. "I will fight the giant," said David. "I have killed a lion and a bear that tried to attack my sheep," said David. "I was not afraid because God looked after me." "But you're just a boy and he is a mighty giant," said the king. King Saul gave David a helmet, armor, and a sword. David put them on, but they were much too big. Look, boys and girls, too big for him. He looks a bit silly. He tried walking around the tent. "I can't wear these," he said. "I'm not used to them." Clink clank went the armor, so he took them off. Instead, David took his sling and his pouch and went down to the stream. There he found 5 smooth stones and put them in his pouch. "My sling was all I needed to fight the lion and the bear," he thought. "God will look after me." David went down to meet Goliath. The giant towered over him. He roared, "I am Goliath, tall and mighty. Who is brave enough to fight me?" "I am," answered David. "Will you fight me with that stick?" sneered Goliath. Goliath was angry. Goliath lumbered toward David. David grabbed a stone from his pouch and put it in his sling. Goliath waved his sword in the air, and David let the stone fly through the air. The stone hit Goliath in the middle of his forehead. Crack! He crashed to the ground. King Saul's army cheered. "The mighty Goliath is dead," they cried. The Philistine army ran away, chased by King Saul's soldiers. Young David was a hero. Wow! What an incredible story. Little David, who was only a boy and didn't even have any armor, defeated the mighty giant. Did you guys hear what David said? He said it a couple of times when he talked about defeating the bear and the lion, and then when he was going to fight Goliath. He said he wasn't afraid because God was going to look after him. Boys and girls, do you know that's the same for you? No matter where you go or no matter what you do, God will look after you. If you're ever afraid, I want to encourage you to reach out to God and ask Him to help you be brave, just like David.
So today, in Emily's story, she talked about the story of David and Goliath. So for today's craft, we're going to also do a craft on David and Goliath. So all you'll need for this craft really is a pair of scissors and also some pencils or textures. And today I'm going to be using textures. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to colour it in and then we'll go from there. So now I've finished colouring David and Goliath. I'm going to do some cutting with our scissors. Okay, so you'll see this strip at the top with the dotted lines. We're going to cut across these 2 lines first. Okay, so we're going to get our scissors. Oh, and be careful as well, because scissors are sharp. So if you do need help, remember to ask your leader or mummy and daddy as well. So on this page, you'll see that David has dotted lines on top of his head, and then you'll also see that Goliath also has dotted lines in front of his head, just there. So what we're going to need to do is get our scissors to cut across these lines so that our strip of paper can fit inside this one. So I'm going to teach you now how we're going to cut these 2 dotted lines. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is actually fold our paper. This is going to be a bit tricky, so I think you'll need to ask some help for this one. So we're going to fold it in half. Okay. So where you see the dotted lines are, we're just going to fold it just like that. Don't press down because we don't want the page to be folded. Okay, so what you're going to do now is get your pair of scissors and cut across these dotted lines just like that. Just one snip. And then we're going to go to the second line, and then we're going to do the same thing again. And just one snip. Okay, and then hopefully when we open it up, beautiful. Okay, so we just need to flatten the page a little bit longer. So what you're going to need to do is get your strip of paper, and you're going to thread it through the back of the slit on top of David's head. So what we're going to do is, okay, so I've got it, and now I'm just going to pull it through. And then what I'm going to do now is thread it through the slit in front of Goliath's head. Okay, so just like this. And then you can see that when you pull one side, it looks as if the stone that David is throwing is going to hit Goliath. So if you pull from one side, it goes to Goliath. If you pull back, it's going back to David. Just like that. I hope you've had fun with our special craft today on David and Goliath. And I hope you guys all remember that God, when He is on our side, He will always help us to defeat our giants.
Wow, wasn't that amazing? It's so great to know that even though we might be small, God can use us to do mighty things. I hope you've had a great day today, and I can't wait to see you next week. Bye.